Hello, welcome back to In Your Community with Jacob Rowe. In this episode,
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument.
we will be looking at how your Blue Thunder Marching Band affects the Bronco community and what role they play on game day. Before we begin, I'd like to dive into the history of this marching band program. In the novel, Looking at the Broncos, A History of Boise State University Athletics, 1932 to 1994, by Patricia K. Oruda, we learned that from its beginnings as a junior college, Boise State has developed a long tradition of excellence in music. In 1932, the music department created an orchestra, while concurrently, the small student body started a pep band to play at athletic events. This pep band was an on-again, off-again endeavor throughout the 1930s. The original members played in street clothes at the home football games and also received partial academic credit for their efforts. They were integral in creating a game day atmosphere that was conducive for Bronco fans to support their team. Fast forward to the present, due to its quality of sound, the Blue Thunder was asked to perform for President Obama when he visited Boise State in January 2015. Under Dr. Tonello's direction, the band has matured and traveled throughout the Northwest, introducing the thunderous sound to new fans. The Blue Thunder Marching Band is extremely dedicated to their community. According to a KTVB interview with the director of athletic bands, Joe Tornello,
Game week, it's probably about a 16-hour time commitment. We're in a stadium that holds almost 40,000 people, and we have 200 people in the band, so we're trying to project a pretty big sound to a large space.
As a member of the Blue Thunder Marching Band, I have seen firsthand how our countless hours of practice affects our community. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but as soon as the drum major conducts the first downbeat, time itself seems to slow down. I can feel the sound come through my instrument and travel towards the audience. Their faces once the sound hits them is simply amazing. As Matt Clay put it,
just a wall of sound. I mean, we talk about all the time that you just want to hit him in the chest.
The Blue Thunder Marching Band affects the community in many ways. At the very beginning of the academic school year, every year, the band performs at the freshman convocation. This event is in some cases the first official school event a person will partake in. After this event, the band runs to the football field and sets up in the stands to play music, while all the freshmen and their parents make the B on the blue. After the freshman convocation passes and the school year falls into stride, the band remains a constant part of the school community. In addition to performing on the field at every football game, the band does a parade around the stadium where they perform only a few feet and sometimes inches away from the audience. Being a part of the band, this is my favorite part of the game day experience. As soon as we approach the crowds in the tailgate tents, people stop what they're doing and turn to watch and cheer us on. One of my favorite memories from the band comes from one of these tailgating parades. We had just arrived at a third and final performance spot, and as usual, people rushed over and tried to get as close as possible. I saw in the background a family with an elderly woman in a wheelchair, unable to really come forward because of how tightly packed everyone was. After we finished playing and began to walk away, one of my friends and I ran over to the family just to give them a high five and say thanks for watching, something we usually do every time we perform. The woman in the wheelchair, I remember, gave me a high five and held onto my hand like she was my own grandmother. This interaction will always be one of my favorite parts of being in band. This past 2019-2020 school year also marked the arrival of a new president at Boise State University, Dr. Marlene Tromp. An interesting welcome event the band played at occurred in the middle of the Boise State Quad. I really liked playing here because we got to play for students that perhaps don't go to football games and usually don't get to see the band in action. Boise State University is really good about encouraging the band to be a part of the community. For example, the band traveled to Las Vegas twice this year, where they were met with thunderous applause when they ran onto the field. Marching bands across the country have always played a significant role on game day. When I was in high school, my band director at the time told us a story about an experiment he played in the school. Our high school marching band played a pregame show, a halftime show, and pep tunes in the stands. The pregame show and halftime show are fun to perform in, however, I don't feel they add as much to the game day experience as pep tunes in the stands do. This was confirmed through my band director's experiment. For the first part of the test, he had the band not play a pregame show, but instead walk straight into the stands and only do a halftime show and pep tunes. No one at the school said anything. No one noticed. The second part involved the band not playing either the pregame show or the halftime show. They only played pep tunes in the stands. Once again, no one from the school said anything because no one noticed. For the third and final part of the experiment, he had the band not show up at all in the stands to play pep tunes. It was only after this that the administrators from the school finally asked where the band was. They were curious as to why they didn't hear our school's fight song after every touchdown. I feel this experiment at my high school can be translated to the Boise State University game day experience. Blue Thunder plays after every touchdown, first down, and almost every timeout or lull in the game. There is never a silent period in the stadium when the band is present. All in all, being a part of the Blue Thunder Marching Band has allowed me to experience what it's like to be a part of the Bronco community. When you perform at every game, you begin to see and recognize a lot of the same people. You, in a way, become a part of a larger Boise State family. This sense of family and community is what draws people together at sporting events, a shared goal to be victorious against a separate team and family. Marching band is merely another aspect that is a constant presence within these sporting communities. We provide the soundtrack for their experience. In return, the community provides us with their attention and devotion to our school. The support of the community is integral in the success of not only a marching band program, but the entire university as a whole. Thank you for listening to No Patrick, Mayonnaise is Not an Instrument, Episode 1 of In Your Community with Jacob Rowe. I hope to see you again soon.